Welcome back to Craft Camp. It's Linda, and we're making Irish medallions for St. Patrick's Day, which is Sunday, March 17th, 2019. I did use a Cricut to cut these pieces out of cardstock. You can buy stickers, you can cut them by hand, you can draw them. It's really up to you. Let's get started. So what I'm doing here is using a repositionable glue to put each piece on top of the other. So I cut out several, you'll see at the bottom of the screen, 4 to be exact, out of green cardstock. And I'm putting this repositionable glue on each piece. Later you'll see that I start doing it letter by letter. That made it a little easier. And I used my Cricut weeding tool and tweezers to help position because the pieces are small and the glue is getting everywhere and sticking to everything. Also, you can pick it up and kind of shift the pieces to align them properly so that they're nice and neat. And we're going to skip through a little bit of this in just a second. I am Irish, so I didn't want to put I'm Irish, but just Irish. I think this is going to be a pen. I'm not sure. I was thinking possibly a clip for my hair or a headband with the little springs. I haven't made up my mind, but I thought this would be a good thing so I don't get pinched. And it's on a Sunday this year. I'm kind of bummed because I was wanting to wear this to work. But maybe next year. The gold piece behind the letters is made of gold paper, you see on the left-hand side there, and some plastic acetate, or maybe it's just called acetate. It's clear. It was off of a package, like packaging material. It was the front cover. You know how often they have a box with a hole in it and then they cover the hole with plastic to keep you from poking at what's on the inside. Okay, so that's what I did. I cut out a circle, used spray adhesive, attached it to the paper, and then trimmed the paper. I didn't get that on film, I'm sorry. But the next step is to emboss these letters. So I am using a Recollection brand embossing powder and embossing ink. Sorry, I'm a little out of frame. I didn't realize where the camera was when I was filming, the camera lens on my iPad when I was filming. So I stamp it and then I get the powder and you pour it on generously because it's kind of like glitter. You can always dump the excess back in to the jar. Now it is very fine, so I'm pressing in just a little bit because then I will get my tweezers and kind of pick each piece up and tap it off and pour the powder from the paper back into the jar. This process is a little time consuming, and because the pieces are so small, a little tricky, as you can tell. Normally, what this is used for is a rubber stamp or a silicone stamp. You press it in the ink, you press it on your project, and then you powder where you stamped, and then you can emboss the stamp itself. I really like this when I was making cards. I found this to be a fun project and a fun technique, and I'll show you why here. You will need a heating tool. I don't think a hairdryer would work because these heating tools are hotter than a hairdryer. And you can see I'm using the weeding tool to hold down the little letter. Of course, on a card, you could use your hand if you had stamped it. But since these are little, and I'm just going to use my heating tool And this is the process I go through for each of the letters. Now, remember, each of these letters is 4 layers thick glued together. And then I'm embossing them. I think I ended up embossing them each 3 times to get the effect I wanted. Don't worry, I recorded it, but I've edited all of it out. So the video is not, half an hour long. I did go to a cutting mat later for this, just to protect my surface and reserve my paper, the green paper. And you can see it's a plastic cutting mat. It was a cheap one. It's getting warped. It's okay. It's nothing special. Just something to protect the surface of my desk. All right, as you can imagine, this little dot for my eye was the hardest one of all because it was so tiny. And then here is my S, and then I do the H. The heating guns do get very hot. They're hotter than hair dryers, so you don't want to use them for your hair. Just don't do it. And you'll want to protect your surface and make sure there aren't any, it's at least that it's not sitting where a little wood could grab it when it's still hot. Here I'm positioning my letters on the medallion to make sure they all fit. I did have to recut my H because at one point I resized it and managed to cut the big one instead of the small one. I don't know. Anyways, this red tape on my desk. It is about 1/8 of an inch, double-sided tape. You peel off one side, stick it to the letter, peel off the other side, stick it to the medallion. That's what I did. I just cut it the length of the widest part of each letter. Please, if you like this video, give it a like, thumbs up, subscribe, and share. We'd love to have more people join us here at Craft Camp for fun crafting projects and ideas. So if you have an idea, make a comment below and let us know what you'd like to see. All right, so I'm peeling off the plastic and positioning. There we go. It's good to go. Still don't know exactly what I'm using it for, but I hope you like it. It was a lot of fun to make. Made a mess. And here you go. Finished project. Let me reposition that for you. There you go. Irish.